Hey everybody, it's Allie, and welcome to an episode of Coffee with Allie. But I'm not drinking coffee. I'm tired of hiding it. I'm tired of pouring it into a coffee cup and making believe something in the cup is coffee when it's not. It's late at night. I am having a Bon and Vive spiked seltzer grapefruit. I don't know if you can see it. Read it. It's quite tasty. Today's episode, I'm going to be giving you another Photoshop tutorial. So recently I went to a shoot that a friend of mine set up, Samantha. It was a really fun shoot. And what she did was she set up a bunch of stations. She brought in some cosplayers. A lot of the cosplayers were in Beetlejuice style cosplays, which was a lot of fun. And so today I'm going to show you just one of the cosplays. And I want to take you, first of all, I want to tell you something. I used to practice what I was going to show you and then video it. Not anymore. You're seeing, if I screw up, you're going to see it. If I like what I've got, great. If I change it, great. And the reason for that is I think you're going to learn a lot more if you see the real process, not the fresh baked process. You're going to see the real process. So this is an image that I did of Ashton, and she was cosplaying as Jack Skeleton. Okay, so I'm going to work with one of these images, and it's a little Jack Skeleton. And so the first thing I like to do, and I've shown this before, is I like to go out to Google my character. And so you can see these are ones where she's being kind of happy. She's doing Jack smiling. So I Googled Jack Skeleton movie scenes. I'm looking for color, I'm looking for expressions, I'm looking for what I have to edit. And I like this one. I know I don't have an exact image for this because I don't have a white, I have a whitish background, not a black background, but we're gonna try and go for that. So looking at that, I picked the image that I like and I've pulled it into Photoshop. So you could see it's just to show you kind of a smiley image, looking kind of creepy. Okay, so we're gonna make this fairly quick to get there. So the first thing I'm doing is adding a new layer. I'm gonna hit J on my keyboard for my healing tool and Command ++++ and drag down to her eyes. It's a little too close. There we go. And I'm gonna go back to stamp. I'm gonna use a stamp first. And I'm on a new layer, so non-destructive. I'm going to be at 100% and I'm gonna sample and I'm gonna get rid of her eyes. So one thing about things like this, you gotta sample a lot to do this. Now this isn't done yet, but I think that the stamp, Command Z, the stamp will help me get rid of the eyeballs faster, but it's looking a little bit weird, and that's pretty typical with the stamping. So now I'm gonna hit J, which is for my healing tool, and I'm gonna get rid of these weird little remnants from the stamping tool until she's got a nice, there's no eyeball there. And I sample a lot to do this. I don't just sample one spot and go because it's just not gonna work. So now she's got some pretty good, her eyeballs are gone. So the next thing I think this image needs is a little dodging and burning. I'm gonna grab the dodge and burn tool. I'm gonna grab my dodge and burn layer and I'm going to hit B for brush and 2 for 20% and D for default. So my colors are now black in front and white in the back. And I'm just going to really kind of get in here. And at 20%, I should be able to move pretty quick. And I really want to darken these eyeballs. I want to because if you look at the character, his eyes are like sockets. But here's the thing. If I just went and made this totally black, it would look really, really, really fake. I'm going to try going to a 50% for this center, but at 50%, Command Z, 50%, I started to lose some control. We'll try 40%. And I'm just getting in here and I'm doing this kind of fast and dirty and messy, but just to show you guys. Okay, so let's go Command. Okay, so that looks pretty good. And the next thing I want to try is make my brush fairly large. Where is it? And I'm using my right bracket to make it larger. And I'm using my left bracket. Right bracket makes it larger. And the right, use my left bracket to make it smaller, my right bracket to make it larger. And I'm just really darkening this down. I'm not getting too close to her. It's okay if I do. I just want to get a little bit darker, creepier feel. I'm not going to get this to black without doing a cutout, and I really don't want to do a cutout. I'm going to make my brush a little smaller, get this behind her a little darker. I just darken this background up. Okay. Like, this is some really fast and dirty dodging and burning here. This is not, I'm not going for the pretty, let's get a good contrasty look. I'm just trying to get this darkened. Okay. Now, if I was doing this, like, not for a quick video, I would be paying a heck of a lot more attention to my edges and things like that. Okay, so we've got that darker, and I'm going to go in now to curves, and I'm going to darken a bit more, and I'm going to pop the highlights a little bit brighter, get a little bit more contrast, and that's looking pretty good. So now we want to make it red, so I'm going to add a full solid color layer. Pop this all the way to bright red and change this to soft light, and that's not really great. Let's see what color. Color is almost working better, but of course this is a little too much. So first thing I'll try is desaturating my color, but what I don't want is pink. So this red is a little bit tricky, but so this, you know, I kind of want to play with it and get it so that the red is better, okay, but this is definitely kind of pink. So I'm going to grab a hue and saturation layer, and let's take the reds, try darkening them, and adding a little more saturation. And you can't see it, but in my other screen I'm looking at my reference image, and underneath all this I'm going to just kind of get a little bit more dodging and burning. So I'm going to grab my brush tool, make it a little smaller, put it at about 20%, and I want to get this chin area. And so I wasn't really worried that her skin on her neck didn't match, because I knew I was going to really play with the color toning here and kind of get her nice, and there we go, get this a little bit darker. And I don't know, let's darken down here a little bit. Okay, so I don't really like this red, so I'm gonna actually, let me see it without it. I'm not sure I like this red. I think I know what I'm going to do. And so, like, that's why I do this the way I do it. So I'm going to go to image, apply image. I just want that red on my highlights. I like that. It's so much better. Okay, so I meant I want my red on just the shadows. And if I hold Option and show you my mask, you can see that the shadow areas are white, which means they're getting the red, and that's what I want. I think that looks a lot better. And now I can actually really maybe play with the color even. Oh, no. We're just going to cancel. We had the color pretty good. That looks pretty decent. So that's the image. It's getting that dark red, creepy feel. So one of the things that's in that image are some lights. We're going to go L. And I'm just going to grab a loose layer, trying to get full-on circles. And this image is some photography bokeh that I shot, I don't know, I've got a 10 pixel feather. I'm going to go Command J, hit my V for move. Take this guy and pop it over here, and it's massive. So I'm going to make this really small, kind of put it over by her hands, and I'm going to move it to the top here so it's on the very top. I don't want it below the hue and saturation, and I'm going to change the blend mode to lighten. So that's not bad. It just needs a little bit of adjusting. So let's just get it adjusted. So I've double clicked on the layer, and what I want is anything that's a little bit darker. I'm going to hold my Option, and I'm going to grab this from the top layer, and I'm just going to try and see if that will kind of kill my edges a little bit, which it does, but not enough. I'm going to add a layer mask. I'm going to hit B, put it at 50%. It's on black, and I'm just going to hit my edges of my bokeh. And so you should not have to cut out all these circles. You should be able to do this with just kind of playing around with it. Like use a layer mask, use a layer adjustment, and then I'm going to take another curves layer, but I'm going to clip it to these. So I'm holding down Option, and you see where I'm hovering. Now I'm only going to affect my little color, my little lights, and I'm going to really darken them down. And because they're on screen mode, so that pretty much killed the rest of it. And I'm not even going to, I'm going to make them a little bit brighter, but not too much. If I make them too much brighter, then they're going to all start showing the background. So that's better. And I'm not really sure I need to do anything else to them, except now I'm going to move them around. So I'm going to just hold my layer, my V, and be like, yeah, that looks good. So let's just, so yeah, it's not exact, but here was the inspiration. Very different, I know, but here's the final image. Now, if I really, really, really wanted to try and do the inspiration image, then I would have planned it. I would have shot against a black background, and I would have shot her from above so that it would have matched up. But instead, I just looked for some inspiration to capture the look and feel from the movie, and this is what I came up with. So, that was the episode, and that image was shot with one light. It was off to the side. I kind of wished in retrospect I had shot that on a darker background, but I had no plans when I shot it for how I was going to edit it, so I had to darken the background. However, I did think it came out nicely. I will say that part of what I did on this day was I challenged myself because I was using my own camera, but I was not using my own lighting. And I brought an ice light because I am a control freak, and it was good because some of the stations were continuous light and I was able to control my shadows behind my model. But some of the stations were strobes. It was all different. And I feel like that's really critical when you want to get better. I don't care how good you think you might be, just keep challenging yourself. Keep making it harder or making it a little bit more of a puzzle or whatever. So on this one, my challenge was don't bring my own lighting, use what's there, and still make it work. And I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. If you would like me to cover something different, if you have a suggestion of something you're struggling with, put it in the comments and let me know, because I'm happy to do these quick, short little tutorials, and I hope they help you. So have a great day. See you next Friday at 3 o'clock. It's been a long day at work, so I got myself a nice little grapefruit spice. It's been a long day at work. Got myself a little Bon and Vive grapefruit spiked. I'm going to try that again.